Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
You know, we have so much to be thankful for. Look around you. Every day, count your blessings, and thank God you live in the United States of America. Here comes Kate Smith, and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot. Come on, Patriots, and our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Kate Smith. God bless America. And yes, that song is going to stay with us. Hey, really appreciate it. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of tires for your vehicles. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our pledge with our Patriot. Good morning.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, that's the great world-famous sugar cookie lady. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Bye-bye.
Oh, my goodness sakes, that's a great way to start off today. I just feel so good when you people get involved and call and give us the Pledge of Allegiance. We've got so much to be thankful for, and all the naysayers that are out there trying to recruit more naysayers. We got to fight them. Got to fight them. Got to win. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. Hello, Roger and the crew. They get there. They've been there for over an hour. Yep, serving you with the best tools and equipment, everything you need, whether you've got a construction project or whether you need lawn and garden supplies, rototillers, you name it, mowers. They've got everything. All you need to do is give them a call if you're not sure what you need. 678-3122 on the Burley-Paul Highway, K&R Rental. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Another sunny summer day here in the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast, and we're expecting, yes, sunny skies. Going to be on the warm side, so wear that sunscreen and drink plenty of fluids. We are expecting a high of 93 tonight, mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, another nice one. Sunny skies with a high of 93, overnight low of 61. By Saturday, we do have a slight chance of some rain showers or afternoon thunderstorms. Still mostly sunny skies, high of 94, partly cloudy for Saturday night with a low of 62. Then as we hit Sunday, mostly sunny and mid-90s. That's what's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. And the weather always first thing in the morning, brought to you by our friends at K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn on the Burley-Paul Highway. Roger and the crew serving you with the best tools and equipment. 678-3122. Caller, you're going to have to hang on just for a few seconds because I've got to get some other things that are scheduled here on the air. So stand by. Right now, Merv May, come on in here. How are you?
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here, $31, 31.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best doggone auctioneer, Merv May at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And sale time today at 11 o'clock. The sale that works for you. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy. And for cattle consignments and information on the sale today, 678-9411. I've got a partial list of some of the cattle going through. Nate Eames over in Rupert bringing in 92 head of ripping good 6 to 850 pound yearlings, and the Acme Dairy bringing in 25 head of 900 to 1400 pound heifers, and they're also bringing in 22 head of butcher cows, and butcher cows also from Antelope Hills Dairy, along with a good trailer line run. Sale time at 11 o'clock this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. Sale today. Merv, sell those steers.
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here, $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and $7.35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom again.
I appreciate it, Merv. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go.
Good morning. You know, Zeb, when we were a lot younger, we learned our measurements and everything in school, you know, like 12 inches of a foot and 36 inches a yard. Okay. Now, the world has changed so much that we don't notice it. But a barrel of oil is now $67. But how much is in a barrel of oil? Most people don't know. You and I were brought up with the idea that a barrel of water or whatever it is 55 gallons. The crude oil is only $40 or 40 gallons. I don't know how many people knew that.
Okay, but what is your point on this, Keith? What end result or net result do you want to talk about?
Well, the people are being duped for one thing. More ways than one. But the thing that I don't understand is when crude oil is down around $30, $40 a barrel, we're paying $3 and some cents a gallon.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this on the radio before, and I've mentioned it many times. The American public is so gullible. I've kept records, and I've got notebooks right here of the various price structures that were thrown at us on oil, and they said, well, remember when crude was up over $100 a barrel? Remember that?
150.
Yep, exactly. And how much of a variation in price has really happened in the price of gas or diesel since it dropped down to 67 or even lower? Not very doggone much. We are being gouged and nobody seems to care.
No, the reason why they can do this is because they keep passing the buck.
Yeah.
But you go down there and to one of our distributors and you say, how come we got to pay this much? Well, my people are charging me this much.
Yeah.
So then you go to the distributor for the whole region, and they said, oh, no, it's the refinery.
Yeah.
And then you go to refineries, and they said, well, we were down for about 3 days. And so that might have been a problem.
Well, it's been a ripoff for a long time, and I've got to kind of expedite our part of the conversation here because I got some commercials I have to get in. But I have long been bitter, very bitter, over the ridiculous price structure and how naive the American public is into accepting this idiocy that's thrown at us at the pumps. Keith, God bless you. Appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right, sir. Hey, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they literally have all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. What you need to do is just give them a call, and if you're not sure what you need, they can help you. I'll tell you that. 678-0459. They're open, like I said, 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they have been serving you for over 6 decades. They care and they know. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley. Want to also give a great big shout out to our friends over at Denny's Restaurant. You know, for some reason this morning, I am so hungry. Oh, boy, I tell you what, a great big breakfast over to Denny's America's Diner sounds really good to me right now. And whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, anytime, all the time, all the desserts, everything, or maybe you'd like a Cobb salad with prime rib, ooh, knock your boots off delicious. Whatever, you just stop in and see them today. Great people serving you at 611 North Overland in Burley and the other location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Great folks. America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Really, really good. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I want to talk about a man in Minnesota in just a moment. Stand by. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I'll be over there this afternoon to help my aching and paining. Well, I'll tell you what, Nick Greenwell and the rest of the staff, they can help you get back to being you. Get out and enjoy life. My goodness, don't just sit there. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. Along with all their great physical therapists, don't forget, too, they've got the only one of its kind, the hydrotherapy pool. Oh, it is good. You're going to love it. They're going to help you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. I had a call, and it was a very, very nice man back in Minnesota. And he lives right close to St. Louis Park, Minnesota, where they're having a big to-do over the stupid city council in St. Louis Park, Minnesota, deciding not to do the Pledge of Allegiance because it takes too long and it's divisive. Yeah. Well, he tuned in to my program and was listening to my remarks about St. Louis Park, Minnesota, and he said, I would love to come on your radio program and talk about what's going on back here. He says, I know a lot of the principals involved, and he also has some information gathered about Ilhan Omar and other of the delegation from Minnesota that's causing a lot of trouble. So I'm going to have him on the air this next Monday, and we're going to find out what he has to say. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A big shout-out and a big thank you to my son-in-law, Nick Cummins, and all three of my grandsons yesterday. They came down in a real warm day and did a heck of a lot of dirt work with me, and we got the job done, and I have nothing but good things to say and a big thank you. I got the greatest grandsons in the world. Great family. Nick, thank you so much for all your help. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. They can take care of your animal's health. Why in the world have you got animals if you're not going to take care of them? There's a question for you. And you want them healthy. Well, I'll guarantee you, I don't want to see my dog sick. I don't want to see anything sick. I don't want to see my rope and steer sick, my horses sick, nothing. Take care of them. And that's exactly what they do to help you at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. All right, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I do not know if you heard about this coach or not, but I am going to personally send him a letter, and then I am going to invite him on my program because I am that absolutely proud of what he did. Caller, stand by. Don't go away. A coach by the name of Todd Starnes got up in front of his minor league hockey team at their very first practice, getting ready for this new season coming up. And he looked all the players in the eye in the locker room, and he said, and I'm going to have to bleep a little bit of it, if anyone here in this locker room intends to show disrespect to the United States or Canadian national anthems, get your gear and get the da-dum-da-dum-da-dum out of here. I love it. I'll tell you more about this story in a moment. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Morning. The menu at the Barley Senior Center on South Overland is meatloaf, all the trimmings, and yummy dessert. And it's only $5 and you call ahead. We serve lunch from 12 to 1.
All right, Joe. Well, by golly, we'll send them over. And you've done a great job being a cheerleader for the Senior Center on Overland. And God bless you, man. Thanks, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Appreciate all that you do for us.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much. Joe Taylor, good friend. Hey, before I tell you more about this coach, Wheels, can we have a good word for the Silver State Stampede?
Follow the crowd to family entertainment at its best. The 2019 Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 12, 13, and 14 at the Elko County Fairgrounds. Kicking off this fast-paced weekend is the annual Tri-Tip Dinner on Friday, along with mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the always popular Ring of Fear, and new this year, mini bull riding. The fun continues on Saturday and Sunday with more PRCA rodeo action, and you can dance the night away with the music of Moonshine Outlaws. Get your advance tickets today at Roy's, J.M. Capriola Company, IFA, the Boot Barn, and the Elko Chamber of Commerce. Don't forget the best in the West is waiting for you at the Silver State Stampede, July 12, 13, and 14. For more information, visit us at silverstatestampede.com. Head to the Elko County Fairgrounds for the one, the only Silver State Stampede. Rope and ride on the wild side.
Amen. Hey, Wheels, old buddy, if you can boost up the sound down the line to my headsets, I'd appreciate it. Just a little bit, a smidgen. That'd be just perfect. Thank you. Once again, this hockey coach for the Danbury, Connecticut Hat Tricks. That's the name of this team, and I'll guarantee you I'm so proud of this hockey coach. He said, we're not women's soccer. We're not the NFL. If there's anybody, this is a complete quotation, now listen to this. If there's anybody here who is going to be disrespectful to either the American or Canadian national anthem, grab your gear and get the hum out now, because you'll never see the ice in this arena. We don't have that problem in hockey. We're better than that. But there was no sense in wasting anybody's time if that is going to happen. Whoa! I love this. I love this. A coach that's got some backbone and a spine that's going to tell these people, hey, if you're going to even think about disrespecting the national anthems from the U.S. or Canada, they're right behind you is your locker. Clean it out and don't let the door hit you in the posterior on the way out. I love this, and I wish more coaches would take that attitude. Oh, you're going to sit? You're going to take a knee? Or you're going to run down the president in this country? Or you're going to do anything to denigrate the flag of our Constitution and our country? Out of here. You're gone. Why can't the same thing, and why wasn't the same thing done in regards to Colin Kaepernick and Megan Rapinoe and others that have just caused continuous turmoil? You're gone. You're out of here. We don't need you. We don't need a disruptive source or sources in the locker room that are going to have a bad image for our team out in front of the American public. I love this. What are your thoughts about this, Coach? Come on, we all ought to be calling and saying, amen. Amen. Go to the mountaintop, brother. Wow. And in recent days, as you know, sports fans have expressed their total disgust at some of the unpatriotic behavior displayed by the members of the U.S. women's national soccer team. I am one of them. I have been criticized by what I said on the air the other day. I am sorry that the United States women's soccer team won that championship because of a few players on that team that totally disrespected the office of the presidency, this country, and some of their verbiage was absolutely unprofessional. Absolutely unprofessional. And during the World Cup, Megan Rapinoe spoke in profane terms about President Trump and said she would refuse a White House celebration honoring the team's achievement. And listen to this. I did not see this because I wouldn't watch that soccer game. Moments after their championship, one of the players dropped the American flag on the ground. Dropped or did it intentionally. And one of the girls that had more common sense than the rest of these billy goats, team member Kelly O'Hara, raced in and saved the flag from further desecration and picked it up and held it in a manner of respect. You know, I want to talk about heroes in just a minute. And again, I don't care if you agree with me or not. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And we're going to talk about that right after these good words. Stand by. Don't forget, Oakley Pioneer Days. Oh, my goodness sakes, tomorrow. Look out. They're going to start things off on Friday the 12th and then Saturday night the 13th this weekend with the 11th annual Bump and Rub Car Race. Look out. It is organized chaos. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always is at Oakley Pioneer Days. And the fun goes from tomorrow night, the 12th, all the way to the 20th. Holy moly, they're going to have moto rodeo. They're going to have gymkhanas and open rodeos and fireworks, and they're going to have all kinds of other events, like a lot of eating events, chuck wagon breakfast. I love that. And, of course, don't forget on the 20th, great big Pioneer Day Parade with the theme, The Best Is Yet to Come. All of this and so much more at your Oakley Pioneer Days for 2019. Don't you miss it. And some of the great sponsors that want you to come on up and be a part of Oakley Pioneer Days include Clark's for Shopping at 100 East Main in Oakley. They've been in business since 1924. Tom and Harlow and the rest of the people up there, I'll tell you what, they take care of you at Clark's for Shopping in Oakley. Good people. And Oakley Valley Stone, 204 West Main Street in Oakley. They want you to celebrate the 132-year anniversary of Oakley Pioneer Days. And don't forget, they've got all the really nice-looking stone for fireplace, headstones, landscaping, everything at Oakley Valley Stone. And Searles at 120 North Center Street in Oakley. Gas, grub, and goodies. Oh, you gotta try those specialty buns baked fresh every day at Searles in Oakley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. You know, self-respect begins at home. You know, the way these people talk, they get it from their parents, I think. Some of them are brainwashed otherwise, but most of it begins at home of, you know, just like young boys will be going somewhere with their father and they just spit here and spit there and everything. So they grew up doing the same thing. Now, don't you think this begins at home?
Oh, a large percentage of it is, but I'm not going to blame the parents that adopted Colin Kaepernick. I'm not going to blame the parents of Megan Rapinoe because I don't know them and I don't know the circumstances. I think it's too easy to give a blanket response and say all of this problem stems from their parents at home. We don't know that. I will tell you that I'm absolutely sickened by calling the girls or the women's soccer team heroes. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. So, Keith, I appreciate your call, but I want to get into that next story before I run out of time. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. Let's go for it.
All right, sir. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Quickly, I want to tell you, too, about Berry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts. And they've got 3 locations serving you at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls. Hello, Eli. And the Nampa location. And I'm telling you what, for all the heavy work, the lifting, digging, pushing, carrying, they've got the equipment for you to handle all those tough jobs. Absolutely. The Doosan wheel loaders and excavators, and they got all the Bobcats, they've got all the skid steers, mini excavators, everything, and you can't afford not to go in there. I mean, whether you're leasing or buying, stop in today. Berry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. Headline in this morning's paper on the sports page offended me. Maybe it doesn't offend you. By the way, I'm hoping that some of the reasons you're not calling in on some of these topics this morning is because you're busy or whatever, because these are really important. I want your opinion on these things. I am really upset that we would call these girls, like Megan Papino, heroes. The title of the headline in the paper this morning said, World Cup champs celebrated as heroes. Really? Now, heroes to me, I'm an old man. You can go ahead and point your finger at me and say, you don't know what you're talking about, old geezer. Well, heroes to me are people we look up to, people that we admire, and people that we are going to try to emulate. Many of the ladies on this women's soccer team lost my respect because they did not and will not respect the country that have afforded them the opportunity to play for that world championship. You might not like Donald Trump. You might not like anything about his administration, but you played for the country of the United States of America, and that should be the main reason you stand up proud and honor our flag. It's kind of like the old saying, you ride for the brand. You ride for the brand. You ride for that ranch, you work for that ranch, you do the job for your boss. Well, it's the same way in sports. You ride for the brand. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb, Earl, those girls need to be bowing their heads and giving thanks to those that kept freedom in this country going while they were playing, and those that and give thanks to those that give their blood for this country, for the freedoms that they have.
I totally agree. You know, there was an op-ed in the paper the other day, and I've criticized this Chris Houston for his liberal loon approach to Megan Papino and others, and basically give them a free pass to act like they want to. I mean, Earl, I've been at the Olympics. I've worked at the Olympics. I announced at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not tooting my own horn and saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. But I stood there after every different class or event, and I watched the flag ceremonies. And I watched with great pride when our Americans won their respective class or event, and they raised that American flag, and I cried. I was so proud. We've lost pride in America, and I'm sick and tired of it.
Don't include me there, Zeb. I still have more pride than I was ever born with today. So.
I certainly was not including you, Earl, but I think you have to agree with me that when I said we as a country were listening to these young pop-offs that are getting up in front of cameras and they're sitting there denigrating the president and the office of the president and then bowing their head or sitting down or taking a knee during our national anthem, I'm fed up with it.
Zeb, over the 4th, a thought come to me. We grew up around for coonskin hats, Davy Crockett.
Yeah, that's true.
Jim Bridger and those. And there was a song that come to my mind when we were at that age. It was about a hound dog. And these words come to me. Maybe it might make sense, but it did to me. You ain't nothing but a socialist, gonna be a communist collaborator, just a crying all the time.
Yeah.
And you're no friend of mine.
There you go. I look at the destruction of what's going on politically and governmentally in this country. And Earl, you've been a very good friend of this program, and I appreciate and respect all your calls. But you got to be honest with me and answer this. Certainly you can agree with me that some of the elected officials that are in the House of Representatives and the Senate right now currently are not American citizens proud of this country.
It's far too left or liberal, as you say, that what's going on. That they weren't taught the pride that or understood that they didn't spend enough time in military cemeteries and what's been given to those people, and they're just taking advantage of it.
That is an excellent statement. Excellent statement. Earl, as always, thank you for your call. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful, warm weekend.
And all my God blessings to you and your audience.
All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I had a call the other day on my cell phone, and this person said, well, isn't that wonderful those our United States girls won that championship? And I said, no. Holy cow, you would have thought I ran over their cat. I tell you what. Why? Why don't you feel that way? And I said, because they're not heroes to me. I'm not proud of them and the way that they reacted. They won a game. They won a series of games to win that World Cup. Okay, fine. I would have been absolutely proud and sang their praises on this program if their attitude would have been one of Americana, proud of their country, and acted in a like fashion. But to let the flag hit the ground and to talk with profane terms I can't use on the radio about our president, no, they are not heroes to me. Caller, I'm going to ask your indulgence. Stay right there. I'm going to be right with you. I want to remind everybody about Rain for Rent. Hello, Jake over there at Rain for Rent and the rest of his really qualified staff to serve you with all your irrigation needs. I mean, listen, dedicated sales and service staff. It takes a lot for a business to get some really, really good people you can trust, people that are trusted by the populace as far as the people they're working for and serving, and they've got them right there at Rain for Rent. Absolutely. The number to call for your irrigation needs, 438-5065. They're located at 134 South, 600 West of Paul. Don't forget, Rain for Rent, your Reinke Diamond dealer. Jake and the crew at Rain for Rent. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I think people that run those organizations and the news media outlets should be more ashamed of themselves than the people that actually put the display on, because if they didn't glorify those displays, we wouldn't have this crap. And that's what really is wrong with our country today, is the stuff our media chooses to glorify. And I'm like you, I accidentally flipped across the New York welcoming for them, where they were coming down the steps introducing them with the young women beside them, and I thought to myself, and that's the role models that we want our children to look up to?
Yeah, I sat there and I looked with great despair at what I saw about honoring this team because of their attitude and their actions, and I can't do it. I am not proud of the United States women's soccer team. I'm sorry, folks. If you disagree with me, you have every right to call and chew me out. But I'm not sorry for my statement. They are not heroes. I would not like my daughter, if she was younger, to imitate and emulate what they are and what they do. No, they are not heroes.
I agree with you. The team themselves should be totally ashamed and reprimanded and reproved, and that kind of defeats, as far as I'm concerned, the argument for thinking that they deserve equal wage to the male counterparts in that sport. They're not near as professional as the males are, so why would they deserve being paid what the males are?
You know, let's be really blunt about this, sir. Stay on the line with me. What you just said is 100% fact. You know, it's easy for women to say, well, we should have equal pay. No, you shouldn't. Because you're not of equal value in your respective event. Now, I'm going to take a lot of heat over this, but how in the world can you say, look at women's basketball. When you've got LeBron James and you've got Steph Curry and you've got other great athletes that are out there on the court, and that's where the money is going, that's where the crowds are buying tickets and everything, don't you dare come to me if you're a woman involved in a comparable sport and saying, we deserve equal pay. No, you do not.
No, they don't bring in equal dollars. They don't bring in...
That's my point. That's my point.
Fighting arena. The flyweights don't bring in the crowds that the heavyweights do.
That's my whole point. And I am sick and tired of this crying for equality, equality, equality. Nobody is equal, but you can always take yourself and pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and try to make your situation better.
I think just what you said is absolutely right. That's what everybody wants to forget, is that there really are no one is equal in most respects, in talents, abilities, skills, and we deserve paid commensurate with what our abilities are and what we do for the companies we work for and how we represent them, not just because we are alive and have breath.
Sir, I always want you to call. Thank you very much for your input. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. Please don't go away. I want to talk to everybody about Greystone Crossing. Wow. Greystone Crossing, independent living for seniors. It has a kitchenette, but like Kelly told us on the air, you won't need it probably. They serve wonderful 3 homemade meals a day. Snacks are provided every day. Housekeeping, transportation if you need to go to the doctor or the dentist or whatever. And when the family comes to visit, you know, all the chores are done. You can just sit back and relax. It's a win-win, I'll tell you what. You better find out more about Greystone Crossing, independent living for seniors. Beautiful place, beautiful location. Matt and Kelly Wiggins invite you to call 650-4979. That number again, 650-4979. Check it out. Greystone Crossing, independent living for seniors. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Tim. I'm sorry I'd already started calling before you were talking about some of the same things I was going to mention. But when it gets back to these women, thank God there was at least one on there that had the good common sense and the loyalty to America to go pick up that flag. But as far as this pay thing, they agreed to work for that amount of money. All my life I have worked in competition or in jobs with men, and I never expected more pay. If I couldn't do the job that my employer expected from me as from any man, I didn't deserve to be paid anymore. And also, as far as being called heroes, there were canine military dogs that saved the lives of our men and women in service that were more deserving of being called heroes. And when I think about my relatives and my friends who went through all the wars, starting from World War II on, my God, there's no way in the world I would call those women heroes. Yes, we're proud of them, but not anymore.
You know, you just said something that I'm so glad you mentioned. I want to elaborate on it just a little bit. Stay with me. Heroes. To me, that's a term that is used way too much and way too loosely. And to put the number on there that they are heroes for winning a soccer championship, no, not at all. I absolutely agree with you. To our police, our firemen that run into burning buildings to save children, our military, those are heroes. Not some prima donna athlete that stands there with purple hair and a fist clenched against the United States of America?
Well, just look at how dare they compare our men that died on Iwo Jima or those in the Bataan Death March with these women. It just makes me get goosebumps. It makes me ill to think that they call themselves Americans.
Thank you. Thank you for your call, as always. God bless you. Thank you very much.
You too.
Thank you. She is spot on. That terminology, hero. They're not heroes. They're not heroes. I don't know why the public and like that silly, basically very kindergartenish approach by Chris Houston in the Times News last week praising Megan Pepino. No, I'm not going to praise her. I'm not even going to acknowledge the fact that they won that soccer championship. I think it's disgusting. Caller, would you do me a favor and stay with us just a minute? I've got to get a weather on here or I'm going to get yelled at. Oh, my wife's going to come in and say, hurry up, get on time. Anyway, I'll get the weather. I'll take your call in just a minute. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. And for your hearing health care, please make an appointment with them today. 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957. And make an appointment for hearing screening. Don't let your hearing go. Don't let it diminish. Let them help. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Another sunny summer day here in the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast, and we're expecting, yes, sunny skies. Going to be on the warm side, so wear that sunscreen and drink plenty of fluids. We are expecting a high of 93 tonight, mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, another nice one. Sunny skies with a high of 93, overnight low of 61. By Saturday, we do have a slight chance of some rain showers or afternoon thunderstorms. Still mostly sunny skies, high of 94, partly cloudy for Saturday night with a low of 62. Then as we hit Sunday, mostly sunny and mid-90s. That's what's your weather forecast for Zebeth Duran.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by our dear friends, and they are, of course, Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, and Dr. Hunsaker, and they know all about your hearing health. Please get a hold of them today, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, 312-0957. Caller, you have been so patient. Go ahead, please.
Yes, like I've mentioned many times before, those ladies are playing for us. They represent the U.S. of A. And if they don't like our flag and they're not proud of our president and they're not proud of our country, then why are they on the team? We don't need to have them on there. Honestly, I'm pretty sure there's someone just as good or better somewhere out there. If they're going to act that way, they can go home and pout like kids on the playground. We can kick them out, tell them to go home until you start acting like a grown-up, then maybe you can come back.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you said, Riley, but to name them and hang the word heroes next to that team name, not going to happen with me.
Oh, no, they're far from heroes. They're far from heroes. They may be talented with being able to kick a ball down the field, but they are far from heroes.
There you go.
I'll let you go, my friend.
All right, Riley. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I think back, and I look at Jimmy Stewart, actor. Oh, wait a minute. Military World War II hero. I look at Lee Marvin, actor, military war hero. I look at many of the service people that were from athletics at that time. They went over and fought for our country, many of which did not come home. Those are heroes that you can look up to and respect. And you look back into that era, there was no flag burning or throwing the flag on the ground or denouncing the president or yelling and screaming about, this is unfair, this is unjust. No. They stood tall for America. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Amen to that. And they did. One person that I seen this morning on TV that is a hero in my eyes, should be a hero and an inspiration to everybody out there, was that football coach that received an an achievement award last night.
Yeah, the young man that's 30 years of age without arms and or legs.
Exactly, and he is a football coach and has a great team. He inspires those kids. This man was born without legs or arms.
Yep.
And look where he has achieved. He did not play the victim card. Woe is me, poor me, give me money, take care of me.
I have said on this program, and you're making my blood boil this morning because you're on a subject that just absolutely, it infuriates me because people, if you try to succeed, you can in this great country of America.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Look at you. You've succeeded. You've done more than most people that have no handicap. You have done more, and you are an inspiration, especially to the seniors. What you do for the seniors and what you do for the vets, Zeb, my hat's off to you. I look up to you and respect you for what you do.
I really appreciate that, Doug, and it's humbling, but I'm going to tell you this. There are so many people out there that are far, far worse off than I am, that have just dedicated their lives to helping and serving others. And they're proud of this country. They're proud of what they've had the chance to do. And they're proud to sit there, whether it's in a wheelchair or stand on crutches, and look up at that flag and say, oh, God bless America. I'm just so fortunate to be here. And then I look at these athletes and actors that have had millions of dollars given to them in compensation for their ability or their athleticism, and they denounce our country and our flag, and I can't stand it anymore.
Well, I think these actors in this soccer team, that young gal that, well, yes, she is a gal. I don't care what she calls herself, but because she's on the women's soccer team, she should look back in history and look at all of the people who died, and it's been mentioned before here today, but all the people who died, all the blood that was spilled, that is holding up the ground that she is standing on to denounce this country.
Yeah.
This gal, only thing she is after is self-promotion. She's not worried about the country. She don't care about the country.
And she is certainly not a hero.
Exactly. She's not. And not in my book. Maybe some people think she is, but they need to look at the word hero and read the definition.
I've got another call waiting, and I'd love to pursue this further, but Doug, I know I also appreciate and respect the fact that you're so supportive of our seniors. Quickly, please, and then I'll take the next call.
All righty, everybody, let's take care of our seniors. I know I sound like a broken record, but they built this country. They fought for this country. They made this country what it is. It's time for us to step up and take care of them.
God bless you, man. Thank you for your call, Doug, always. Thank you. Caller number 2, I'm going to come to you in just a second. Stand by. I want to tell everybody about our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And don't forget, you can get instant rebates on some of the tires like Backcountry MT, Backcountry AT, Road Control. And these are a set of 4 tires you can get a rebate on. You better stop in and check it out today at any one of the 7 locations, along with getting a free pre-trip safety check. If you're leaving for Aunt Martha's and Uncle Fred's down in Tucumcari, New Mexico, make sure you can drive safe. The best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, all of this and more at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, thank you for your patience. Go ahead, please.
You know, it's the mainstream media that's making them a hero. They're the ones spouting all this, and everybody else is following it.
I agree with that to a certain extent. You gotta, it's easy to blame the media to an extent of making them heroes, but they're also covering a news story, and so you got to draw a defining line. Are they building them up to be as heroes, or are they just covering a news story?
When have you seen the mainstream media in the past 10 years not make a story?
No, I was being a little tongue-in-cheek with you, but I agree with you. Thank you for your call, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
All right, thank you. Caller, quickly, I've only got a minute left.
You know, if these women want to know what a hero is, they need to study the life of Martha Raye. She was in the military before she became a singer and actress. She went over on USO tours, and when the fire was hot because injured sailors and Marines and Navy and military personnel were there, she threw down the fact that she was an entertainer and went in and helped the nurses and went in and helped the doctors, and she served our country and our people. There's a hero.
So well stated. We could go on and on with a list of people that, like you brought up, Martha Raye. Thank you for your call. God bless you, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much.
You too.
Thank you. Got to run to the news. I'll be back in 7. Wheels, take it away. Oh my, here we go, back in hour number 2 on a morning where we've got a lot of spray planes. Occasionally you're going to hear going over my head here this morning, but they're out busy this morning. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you and your family with the best of tires for your safe driving. And also some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I bit my tongue. Rehabilitation sounds better. 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have our guest on the program just momentarily, but I want to remind everybody about Hanson Mortuary. Joel Heward, his staff and family, serving you and your family in a real-time of need when there's the passing of a loved one, and they're always there with the best possible support and comfort. And remember this, always too with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Please remember the number, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Wonderful people. Real quick, too, Wheels, can we have this good word for the Silver State Stampede?
Nevada's oldest rodeo, the Silver State Stampede, roars into the Elko County Fairgrounds July 12, 13, and 14. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of pro rodeo riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. Action kicks off on Friday with a delicious tri-tip dinner for just $10. Old West bronc riding, the Calcutta, mutton busting, PRCA rodeo action, and the always popular Ring of Fear. Dance the night away to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. And on Saturday, show your support with Tough Enough to Wear Pink. Then on Sunday, round up the gang for the Family Day at the fairgrounds for even more rodeo action. Get your advance tickets today at Roy's, the J.M. Capriola Company, IFA, the Boot Barn, and the Elko Chamber Office. The best family entertainment this side of the Rio Grande, the Silver State Stampede. For more information, visit them at silverstatestampede.com.
Thank you very much. And right now, let's just over the river and through the woods to the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce we go. To the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce President, Penny Main. Good morning.
Good morning, Fred. Hey, can I pay a quick compliment really quick?
Yeah.
The young man that manages the studio, your board op, he is a really polite young man. And I just want to give him a shout-out. He's a really, really great young man. He's always so pleasant and so polite, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate that.
Well, Wheels has been with us now for quite some time, and every day is like a Baskin and Robbins day, 31 flavors. He does a wonderful job and gets better every day.
Yes, he does. He's a super nice guy.
Oh, okay. And while I'm picking up the paper off the floor, it says, let's just briefly discuss the Rupert 4th of July celebration and the Burley Regatta. Now that I have the paper in hand, let's briefly discuss that.
Well, sure. I mean, the bottom line is, I don't know if you had the chance to make it over, but it was an eventful handful of days here because, we had the big ribbon cutting for the renovation of the Rupert Square, of course, on the 29th. At the same time, of course, the Burley Regatta was going on, so there was so much happening in the Minnecaja area during that particular weekend. It was crazy, but it was crazy good because there were lots of people in town. The weather cooperated, and everybody had a great time. And again, I keep giving a shout-out regarding the square at Rupert. It just looks absolutely lovely. So, yeah, great time was had by all, that's for sure.
Okay, now, you've got some big events coming up, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the Wake and the Snake.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's this Saturday, and, it's a pretty big deal around here, too. It's right over at the River's Edge Golf Course and Marina, right over by the Burley Golf Course, Idaho Water Sports knows how to throw a party, believe you me, and this event has become more popular over the course of time, that's for sure. I do believe they still have some opportunities for people to register, and probably the easiest way to do that, short of calling Idaho Water Sports, would be to just log on to idahowatersports.com, and they can give you some more information about registration times and the demonstrations and all of those great things that are going to happen. But I know they're prepping for a big party this weekend.
All right.
That's going to be lots of fun on the river.
Absolutely. And an event that seems like it draws a lot of people and a lot of interest, Magic Valley Folk Festival.
Yes, there are a group of people that have been supporting this event for many, many years, and it continues to grow. So basically it's a multicultural event in that a group of people under the guise of Magic Valley Folk Festival bring in these dancers and performers literally from all over the world. And it's a really great opportunity. It's a really great opportunity for people to take advantage of different cultures and different languages and those kinds of things, to kind of witness again, just the cultures in all of these other areas that they may never be introduced to. And so they'll be performing at King Fine Arts the 26th and the 27th. The cost, actually, you can pick up tickets here at the Minnecaja Chamber. The costs are $5 for kids 3 to 11 and $10 for ages 12 and up. And if you need some more information about the different countries that will be appearing, their website is magicvalleyfolkfestival.com.
I have a question. The dancers that represent the various countries and various folk activity dances, etc., are they on tour for a set number of tours and then they go back to their home country? Are they doing this professionally or what?
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Because I know typically they from what I understand, they travel all over the world. So, but I believe they have a set amount of tour dates, in the United States over the course of time. I don't know exactly the span of time or how that looks, but I know they're doing one other thing that's going to be kind of fun. They do have the Rupert Parade and Kickoff Party, so they do that on Monday the 22nd, which is the week prior to these performances. And then on Wednesday the 24th, they do the Youth Culture Day. And so that's on the 24th at Burley High School. So they really kind of embrace and come in and introduce everything to everybody in these communities, and everybody can take part of it. And for some reason, if you can't make it to performance, you certainly do have the opportunity to meet these kids at either Monday at the Rupert Square or on Wednesday at Burley High School. So
all right.
It's just a really awesome event. And again, magicvalleyfolkfestival.com, and we do have tickets available here at the Chamber.
All right. Now, one other event you wanted to highlight this morning was the Spudman Triathlon.
I was laughing yesterday. We had a executive board meeting yesterday here. It seems like, boy, when all the events come, they come at the same time, and they're not small, they're big, right? So at the same time the Magic Valley Folk Festival is going on, we have the Spud Man Triathlon brought to you by the Burley Lions Club, and boy, is this an event. Again, July 27th, a Saturday. Registrations are now closed. If you want some more information, I give you all these websites, spudman.org. It's pretty easy to remember if you want some highlights. But, you know, they cycle, they swim, they race. 1,500 to 2,000 people show up for this particular event, not to mention all their families and everyone else that comes to support them. So, again, the 26th and the 27th is going to be really, really busy in the Minnecaja area.
Okay, now, we've only got about a minute left, and I know that you said on the note that I dropped very efficiently on the floor and found that you also wanted to give a kind of a shout-out to your board of directors.
Yeah, I tell you, do we have the greatest team in place? We really do, led by Stephanie Curtis from Intermountain Cassia Regional Hospital. I just feel so blessed, really, to be led by these great folks and so many others who are part of the Chamber of Commerce. And we really are trying to recreate and reinvest a new vision in this area. And I could not do it without the support of these people, good folks that ran our golf scramble like Dave Haruza. It's impossible to run something of this magnitude without lots of great support. So I just want to give them a shout out and tell them how much the Chamber, that we appreciate them for their tireless commitment, and it's an unpaid job. And so I have a lot of respect for that.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chamber of Commerce report on behalf of the Minnecaja Chamber of Commerce and President Penny Main. Thank you, and we'll look forward to talking to you next Thursday.
Thank you so much, Seb.
All right, take care. Wow, there's a excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat again. I've been fighting that thing. I wish that frog would get back in the swamp. They've got a lot of things going on. All through the summer, there is something to do, something to watch, something to go to. All you need to do is check with the Minnecaja Chamber of Commerce. I want to remind you, too, about Dino's Septic Service. Well, they do a job that you don't want to do. You don't want to be out there pumping a septic tank in 92-degree weather. Oh, no. I tell you what they do. A fast, fair, friendly service. They can help you. Oh, boy, I mean, these people are good. They're very efficient, and they're very nice to work with. Dino's Septic Service. Now, along with the septic tank pumping, they do all the water and sewer lines installed, backhoe services, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned. The list goes on and on. Please give them a call, 436-6526, and in Burley, 678-1638. Like I said, fast, fair, friendly service with a big truck that says smells cargo on the way to serve you. Dino's Septic Service. Right now, my good friend Wheels over at the main studio, we have a special segment this morning that we're going to pay tribute and learn more about our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Wheels, if you would.
There are some mighty fine people working and serving you over at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, and we get a chance to meet another of those great folks. Today, Jamie Vanek. Jamie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing very well today.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, give us a little background about Jamie Vanek. A lot of people might not know that you're over at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Give us kind of a thumbnail sketch as to where you're from, and then how did you get started in physical therapy?
So, I'm originally from American Falls, Idaho. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. In my time in the Marine Corps, I saw a lot of my buddies get hurt and injured. So when they came back home from deployments or whatever injuries they sustained, it was a big and crucial part to get them back to able to do their daily activities and even conduct some of their more vigorous fighting duties. So that's kind of when my passion for physical therapy started. I started seeing people that needed to be helped, and I was helping my fellow partners, and once I got out of the Marine Corps, I kind of followed my passion. I went to physical therapist assistant school at Idaho State. I just graduated this recent May.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still fairly new. However, I'm really enjoying it.
Well, let me ask you this, Jamie, from the school and the courses and the professors and the learning of the muscular and all the tendons and everything else, what's the big transition from leaving the classroom and actually being a physical therapist?
The biggest transition I would have to say is learning how to communicate and work effectively with your patients. Sure, we know all the hooty, snooty names and all that fancy stuff. However, when it comes down to it, you just have to have a friendly atmosphere and treat people courteously and how you want to be treated. And you can't learn that in a classroom. You learn that hands-on within the clinic.
Absolutely. Now, what about the exercises themselves? I bet you that during the course of a day, you're probably seeing somebody recouping from an accident or a surgery or a sports injury or whatever it might be. How do you know what exercises are best going to stimulate some rehabilitation?
One of the things I always look at is what the patient's goals are. We see a lot of different types of people. Some that want to return to sport activities such as football and basketball. And we see other people that are just happy with being able to do their dishes and put the cups back in their cupboards. So what I kind of look at is just kind of their goals, and I just orient my treatment to their goals. And if their goal is to throw footballs, then we throw activities and exercises in that incorporate some football throwing. But if their goal is just to be able to conduct daily motions and get their clothes on without significant pain, and then we work on that. We work on activities to help get those clothes on and reaching activities to help put those dishes away.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would imagine, now tell me if I'm wrong on this, but aside from restoring the muscles and the ability to do certain things, don't you have to kind of work on their attitude to keep on going, too?
Yes, motivation tends to be a problem. Some people get very demotivated because they feel they're just not making the progress they want. When this happens, it's kind of important just to remember the patient, hey, we started in therapy and we weren't lifting any weight. We couldn't even move the arm to above your shoulder. So we just got to frequently remind them, hey, you are making progress. It's a slow recovery process just because it's your body, It's a long time to heal, and motivation is definitely a critical factor.
Do you have a bigger challenge with the elderly, per se, in trying to maintain an attitude of you can do this, you should do this, and it'll be better for you, to try to get them motivated to keep going?
Not necessarily. I feel like I work very well with elderly people. They have a really strong work ethic. You'll ask them to do something, and they just get to it.
Mm-hmm.
They get to their program, and they listen to you, and they understand everything.
What about the changes, Jamie? I mean, when you start at ground level zero, and a kind of a restoration of the muscles or the activities, how do you know how far to progress and then when to change the program? I mean, what are the signs that tell you they can change and go to a higher level?
Well, there's a lot to that. Sometimes we have surgical precautions we need to follow, set forth by the doctor. So we do stick to surgical precautions. If there's a rotator cuff injury, we have to wait till 8 weeks to start certain activities. And so a lot of times we follow those precautions. But when there isn't surgical precautions anymore, one of the things is maintaining communication with your patients. Be like, hey, are you still feeling like this is helping you, or is this too easy? Mm-hmm. A lot of times they'll tell you, they'll be like, no, this is too easy. We can do some more. Mm-hmm. So we increase that weight. We increase that resistance. When they start showing that they're able to do more, and it's kind of, when you see them 2 to 3 times a week, you can tell. Mm-hmm. You can see the differences, and you're like, all right, this is a little too easy. We can can increase this and do something a little bit more functional for you.
Do they go from, and I say they as an all-encompassing statement, myself included, because I've been there many, many times, but do they go from like the on-land exercises and then maybe to the hydrotherapy pool, or is it reversed?
We kind of do a little bit of both. Sometimes we have to do on land first before we can do therapy, just because maybe some contamination issues. Sometimes people get skin rashes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Other times, some people can do hydrotherapy, but they can't do on land. So we'll do the pool, and then once they build up enough endurance and strength to be able to tolerate land exercise, then we'll move them to land. And a lot of times we'll just kind of do 1 day a week of pool and 1 day a week of land, kind of break it up and make it a little bit more enjoyable for the patient.
Okay.
Doing the same thing.
Jamie, let me ask you this. You're commuting every day from American Falls down to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. What makes, in your opinion, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation a great place to work?
One of the biggest things I looked at was the family atmospheres that they have here. Burley Physical Therapy is a lot smaller in terms of staff, so you really get to know people, and it's really homey. Nick Greenwell does a very, very well job at taking care of us all, making sure we're all know what's kind of expected of us, but he also treats us like real people instead of just, that number, that statistic, We're people to him, and I really appreciate that, and to me it's really worth the drive.
What's the goal and aspiration for the future? How high is up, if you will, for Jamie Vanek being a physical therapist? What do you hope to achieve?
That's kind of a hard question for me right now. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on that. So I did just graduate in May, so I'm pretty happy and set where I am right now. However, I'm looking at purchasing a house for my family. And when things kind of get settled down, I might look at furthering my education, trying to learn some more stuff. And, where else can I go in this? Is there any other opportunities for me? But right now I'm just kind of taking a breath of fresh air and enjoying having a paycheck after years of school.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. What do you learn as a physical therapist every day? From the classroom to the actual application of the exercises, etc. What really surprised you? What did you learn that you didn't learn in school?
I would say that the difference between that I've learned here and that I didn't learn in school would just still have to be that patient communication and how to work as a team with your therapy members, your physical therapists, your physical therapist assistants, even your techs, how well can you work together? You have that kind of camaraderie together that people are willing to do whatever you ask them to do, and that's kind of the difference that I've been learning lately, and it's going good.
Absolutely. Well, I want to tell you how proud I am to have you on the air representing Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And the number for everyone to call, make an appointment, 678-1191. Jamie Vanek from American Falls, one of the physical therapists right there at Burley Physical Therapy. Thank you for being on the program, and we extend the best to you in the future.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Very interesting individual with Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Great, great folks. You call them today, 678-1191. Want to also remind you about our dear friends over at Let's Ride. Oh, get your motor running and enjoy all the fun in the hills and on the water. They've got all the side-by-sides and the four-wheelers and the watercrafts. Oh, my goodness, and all the accessories. What are you waiting for? We live in the most beautiful part of the world, and get out and enjoy it. All you need to do is stop over and see Let's Ride. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Excellent accessory department and a super service department to keep you running. Don't forget, Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Really good people. You know, another great business over in that neck of the woods or that part of the desert is Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Just as you make the curve going into Rupert, there you go. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more by people that are really dedicated and responsive and accessible to serving you. Call them today, make an appointment. Wonderful folks at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Call them today. Right now, we have an opportunity on Thursdays to visit with a lady that I absolutely have the most respect for, and I can hear her call coming in over at the main studio. And right about this time, I will say good morning to Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Give me a moment, sir.
Okay, thank you. He had to go and get all the other dials set and everything. Let me know when I can say hello to this lovely lady. Is she ready?
Yes, sir, she is.
There she is. Rita Ramsey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I love summertime. I love everything about summertime. And I'll put the question right back at you. How are you?
I'm real good.
Okay. We have got a lot of things to talk about this morning. And Wheels, there's just a little bit of echo there. Thank you. First and foremost, I think I already know your answers. You're like me, but what were your thoughts when you listened to the stories about the St. Louis Park, Minnesota group at the city council that said, nope, we're not going to have the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. It takes too long, and it's divisive.
Well, this is what is really discouraging about that is when you have leadership people doing this, and what they're doing is they're just following the left, saying we need to get rid of all of this. I think it's time that we start re-educating people and reminding people, especially leadership, and hopefully in our communities here, we haven't run into that yet. But in the event that we do, we're the ones that have the power to have that changed back to the way that it should be. And that is that they should respect the flag enough to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and that if they want to have prayers, and many of them do, and they still do in Congress, that they hold prayers because the community wants them to, not because they all of a sudden decided, well, maybe we shouldn't do it. Maybe it's going to be offensive to somebody down the street.
17 seconds. 17 seconds. The Pledge of Allegiance. And when a group of clowns representing a city council say they don't have time or that it's too divisive, please explain to me how they don't have the time and what is divisive about pledging allegiance to the greatest country in the world.
Well, first of all, if they don't have the time, they better get off the city council. They did not get the city council position because somebody came in and said, you shall do this. It's because they volunteered. They probably even had to be elected, and they decided that they wanted to do that. And so they need to take the time that needs to be done. If they don't have time, they need to just get rid of it and leave and let somebody else that has the time take care of it. The big issue is it's not that they don't have time. It's that they feel like that maybe there's someone among them or someone that might attend the meeting that would be a little bit offended, and so it's kind of like, oh, let's just don't bother with that. Let's just get straight to our business. And I think they're half afraid they may have a fight on their hands if somebody came in and said, we don't like you doing this, and blah, 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 blah. And so it's kind of like, we're just not going to do it because we don't have time. And that's their excuse. That's not the real reason.
Rita, when you just said something like, well, they're afraid somebody might come in and complain, I think you're like I am. I would say, well, listen, you live in the United States of America. It affords you all the freedoms that you exercise daily, including your right to complain. We are going to continue saying the Pledge of Allegiance, whether you like it or not.
Well, that's exactly right. However, they could even do it easier and say, we'll take that under advisement and talk about it next.
Yeah, pass the cord. There you go. No, I want to assimilate that story into another story that I talked about last hour. Earlier in the week, I took some heat, and I will gladly take the heat because I think I'm right. I will not, in any way, shape, or form, congratulate the United States women's soccer team on their victory, or will I call them heroes after the animated, low-class attitude that they displayed in front of the world against their country, the United States? What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with the things that you've said. I also would like to point out that these ladies aren't heroes. They can't be heroes because they're not acting like it. And so when people cease to act like a hero, they're not one anymore. I also would like to add, and I heard this earlier this week, that they had gone in and done some checking against the men's soccer leagues and the women's soccer leagues and their sales, their ticket sales, and the women actually get paid a bigger percent of their ticket sales than the men get paid on their ticket sales. So the women do get paid more than the men. They just may not end up getting as much per year. But this is what happens when you have a society that everybody has to be equal.
Yep.
And we probably had this conversation 15, 20 years ago when it just absolutely mortified us that they were having Little League ball games where they weren't keeping score and where they were giving everybody ribbons for participating instead of first, second, and third place. And that type of thing where we just have to be nice to everybody. We don't want anybody to feel sad. And, oh, by the way, even though you didn't get a 100% right on all of the problems on your test, we're still going to give you a smiley face and tell you that you did as well as the person that got all of them right. And now we have a generation that thinks everything has to be equal. We all have to be wonderful to everybody so we don't hurt feelings. And I agree that we need to be respectful and decent to people. But I don't know that we have to treat everybody the same.
Absolutely. We're not all the same. I mean, this idiocy of saying, well, we're all the same, we're all equal. No, we're not. We're not all a bunch of sheep in a holding pen ready to get chased by a wolf, possibly over a cliff, that wolf being a Democratic or a liberal. I am sick and tired of this all the same equality stuff. You know what? We all have the rights in this country to go out for the pursuit of happiness and the pursuit of using our God-given talents to be whatever we want to be. And we're not all the same.
That's exactly right. And two comments about these ladies and their soccer stuff. I think that what they're trying to do is see if they can't secure a deal with Nike, because they love people who do that. And then the other thing is if these athletes were playing for other countries and they were condemning the countries that they live in and bad-mouthing them and acting this way, do you think they would be on that league for very long?
They certainly wouldn't get the television exposure of a ticker tape parade, I'll tell you that.
They'd probably be banished to the Siberian Peninsula and do their thing up there, and it isn't playing soccer.
You know what, though? There is a bright spot this morning. We'll talk about that bright spot in just a moment. But first of all, caller, and I'm going to ask you to keep your comments short. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Zeb, they talked about how many different genders there are and how many different kinds of people there are in the world, but yet they expect everybody to be the same and have the same talents and the same abilities. I don't think so. There are very few people who have the same talents and the same abilities that I do. There are few people who have the same talents and abilities that you do, and same with Sharon. It is the way that we're created and the way that we are, and just to see how badly they want to twist things into be a one-step society. It's pathetic and low class. I'll let you go.
Absolutely agree with you. Respond to the caller if you would, Rita, please.
I think he's absolutely right and makes an excellent point. Just think how boring the world would be if we were all exactly alike.
Yep.
I have people that I associate with, that I go to church with, that I work with, people in my family, that have way different talents and abilities than I have. And I'm glad that we all bring something to the table because it makes it interesting and we have such a variety. We don't need to be all the same, and yet that's what they're advocating is, well, we all need to be the same, and yet they'll say, well, there's all these different, just like you mentioned, all these different genders. It's kind of like, so what are you saying?
Yeah, right. Hey, listen, did you hear? I've got to ask you this because it was inspirational to me to have a good story come out of the world of sports. And it was all about the coach back in Connecticut at the first practice of the minor league hockey team. He got up in front of all the players in the locker room and said, and I'm going to bleep a little bit here, if anyone here intends to show disrespect to the United States or the Canadian national anthem, get your gear and get the out of here. I love this coach.
You know, he needs to be held up on a pedestal, and hopefully that there would be some inspiration gathered from other coaches and other groups saying, you know what, if we just stand up for it, we're fine. They're not asking people to bow or to wear a flag or anything else. They're asking them to be respectful to the countries that they are in or that they represent, to their national anthems and to their symbols. All you have to do is be respectful. You don't have to do anything else.
But, you know, you just said what I said first hour. I wish the NFL coaches would have a backbone and spine to where they go in at the first practice, like the spring and summer practices that are going on right now, getting ready for the season, and tell all the players, okay, we're going to have a group meeting at 1 o'clock. Everybody shows up and you say, okay, listen, here's the deal. We really appreciate the people that buy our tickets to come to these games and support you. That's where we generate the revenue to give you these multi-million-dollar contracts. If you're intending at all to show disrespect to the United States flag or our national anthem, I want you to come forward, get your gear, and get out of my sight. Why can't they do that?
Well, they definitely should. And the other thing is if they were half the business people that they lead us to believe they are, they would have new contracts drawn up for every player, and this includes any of the new ones that will be coming in here, and there would be a clause in there that said that they would respect that they would not take a knee, and all they have to do is be respectful, and that doesn't mean staying in the clubhouse until it's over with. That means you're going to be out there on the field and be respectful.
Absolutely.
And you either sign it or not. It's up to you. It's your choice.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a quick question. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air.
Good morning. You know, it's sad that it's not taught in school where our national anthem comes from, and the number of soldiers that made sure that flag was up at the dawn's early light, because there was a pile of bodies there, and the British were absolutely astounded. But that's why we still have a country, because the British were defeated there, and Francis Scott Key, you know, put down the lyrics of our national anthem, but we aren't taught that the number of sacrifices that took place to make sure that flag was up so that we had a victory instead of a defeat if that flag had been down. I wish you could comment about that. I'd sure appreciate it.
We will.
It's not taught in school, and it's really sad.
Well, there's a lot of things about America and our history and our past and our heritage and our beloved flag and our Constitution that are just glossed over. Rita, respond to the caller, please.
No, he's absolutely right, and this is the thing. This is what really bothers me, and Common Core was just kind of the nail in the casket, but we've had these leftists doing this for 50, 60 years now at least, probably even longer, is if we eliminate history and we eliminate the facts, or we'll just hide them and not make them known, then pretty soon we'll have things the way that we like them. And so what they do is they eliminate the facts, and they may have a tiny, tiny little 2 or 3 line paragraph in a history book about a specific thing, and never give the facts about it. If people go in and start learning about America, where it very first started, clear back to when the Pilgrims even came across and how that all happened, they start learning about that and what they went to and what they what they had gone through before they came and learn the actual history, they would be as strong as you and I are in our beliefs of gratefulness to this country and those who came before us, that we have the freedoms that we enjoy today.
Absolutely. I'll take one more call quickly before the weather forecast. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Well, talking about what's being taught to our children, what's being taught or isn't being taught, I don't know if you've noticed this curriculum down in California where they're teaching fifth graders everything you can imagine about sex, showing them pornography. And this is the curriculum in California. I'll hang up.
Well, wait a minute. To the caller, we did an extensive segment on that California bill that's now passed as a sex education bill in California on Monday. Unfortunately, I guess you didn't hear that, but he brings up the point, and I'll reiterate it again, that what California is doing to our young people, starting in kindergarten, going all the way to the 12th grade, with this obvious attempt at salacious sexual implementation into the classroom is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it is, and the part that's really sad is that people are not engaged in what's going on in their communities. That's just all there is to it. I've shared many times how we went to the school board and asked for access to get kids interested in the Constitution and that, and they basically told us you're an idiot and get the heck out of our face, and they didn't tell us to leave, but they were pretty rude and ignorant about it. That was our own school board here in Burley, Idaho. And so when you get people in positions of authority and they start treating their constituents that way, it's time for a change. But if people don't go out and start voicing their opinions and why they feel the way that they do, those in authority think, well, I can do whatever I want because you elected me and it doesn't really matter. And so people have got to get engaged, and the less engaged they are, the more freedoms are taken away, and the more rules are made that we don't agree with.
Absolutely. I just am so appalled when I hear all these different stories about, well, we're not going to say the pledge, or we're not going to sing the national anthem, or we're not going to do this, we're not going to honor that. We're going to take artwork that was made 100 years ago in regards to George Washington, and we're going to go out and burn it. I mean, what is this censorship? What is this absolute purging of history in America? These people are evil, and these people need to be locked up.
Well, they do, and actually I have a quote here that I wanted to share with you, so I think we're kind of along the same line. This was Mike, the dirty man job guy.
Mike Rowe.
Yes, he said, I think Ronald Reagan was right when he said we're always one generation away from losing the freedoms we currently enjoy. And then he said, along with the siren of socialism, the persistent promise of free stuff, and the breathtaking level of censorship on our college campuses, I worry about the growing belief among many that we can somehow improve our present by erasing our past, by toppling statues, outlying problematic symbols, or rewriting specific pieces of our histories in ways that leave us feeling less offended. You can't erase it all, and you need to know what that actually is. If you don't know history and you haven't studied it, you don't know what's going on, and you start becoming totally just opposed to it or indifferent, and it doesn't matter, and you're just thinking, oh, well, things will be fine, and you just see how far we've gone, that it's gotten worse, and we're so limited with those freedoms and that we enjoy that we're almost on the brink of tyranny.
Absolutely. Rita, I've got to jump in and have a weather forecast, and the weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, payroll services, retirement planning. The list goes on and on from the professionals serving you at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. With offices in Burley and Rupert, you make an appointment with them today. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Another sunny summer day here in the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast, and we're expecting, yes, sunny skies. Going to be on the warm side, so wear that sunscreen and drink plenty of fluids. We are expecting a high of 93 tonight, mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, another nice one. Sunny skies with a high of 93, overnight low of 61. By Saturday, we do have a slight chance of some rain showers or afternoon thunderstorms. Still mostly sunny skies. High of 94, partly cloudy for Saturday night with a low of 62. Then as we hit Sunday, mostly sunny and mid-90s. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zebatory.
Gina, thank you very much, and brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Accounting services for the Minicash area for over 50 years, the best. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Rita, I don't know if you heard about this story of the Illinois governor that took it upon himself to cancel a singing group at the state fair in Illinois. But this is beyond the pale. Have you ever heard of the country group called Confederate Railroad?
Yeah, and see, that's just another thing. Why he would take it upon himself to make that thing. He should have talked to the fair people and said, well, what do you think? And they would have said, you're just an idiot. Leave us alone. And it would have happened. But it's just like that thing that I just read you. If we have every little thing that reminds us of the past, and we can't have it in our midst. In that actual article that Mike wrote, he wrote basically saying, churches have crosses on them, and those are offensive to people. And so, does that mean we should take all the crosses off of all the churches?
Yeah.
And they're, the various different things that were representative in the time of, the Revolutionary War and way back in the time when there were slaves, and talking about Betsy Ross and the flag and everything else. It's kind of like, come on, that's history. Just start learning about it, and let's make sure that we make corrections. And if they don't feel like that the correction of the Civil War was enough, I mean, there were 500 to 700,000 soldiers and people who died over that issue, and it was a big issue, and it just practically tore our country apart. But the right, which are not just right politically right, but the real, true right, won out, and that means get rid of slavery, because no man is supposed to be a slave to another man. And we corrected that, and we corrected it then. So why anybody thinks that there needs to be any kind of changes or anything that does that, it should be a reminder of us of what was there and how we overcame it and how good we are to have moved forward and make sure that we don't have that happen again.
Well, the classic idiocy of the left and loons that claim that they know all about what needs to be purged is the purging of, like, the statues of Robert E. Lee, the general of the Confederacy. Oh, he's bad. He was evil. Why, he's the epitome of something that needs to be purged from our society. But Robert E. Lee came from the ashes of the Civil War and went on to be a uniting force of the states to put the United States back on track. As a matter of fact, he was asked to speak. He was asked to be a part of the presidential cabinet at that time. He was asked to do a lot of things to regroup and reformulate the American United States of America. And to denigrate him, he was a great man.
Well, and I think, we've all seen those moments. None of us are perfect. Andrew Jackson was a lot the same. There were a lot of things that happened under his administration that were absolutely horrible with the Indians and the, in the explorations and that going west. But you know what? He was the driving force that kept the British from overtaking Louisiana, and the Gulf there, of which the British were coming to do that, and he was the one, not by himself, but because of his stratagem and his knowledge of how to overcome this that was coming in from down below. Once the British lost the Revolutionary War, it's like, well, we'll get them from the other side, so let's go take them from down at the Gulf. And so they all head down there and they're going to try to take over and come up that way, and they'll take over America that way. And he was the one who was instrumental in that happening. Now you've got people saying, well, Andrew Jackson, he was horrible. Let's take down his statue in Louisiana because blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? He's the reason that Louisiana is part of the United States of America.
Absolutely.
And you can't redo history.
Absolutely. With that note, we're going to stop for today and look forward to next time with our dear friend, Rita Ramsey. Thank you, God bless you, and enjoy the warm summer.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, take care. Wonderful lady right there, Rita Ramsey. Thank you for being a part of our program. Oh, I mentioned earlier this morning, for some reason, I've got an appetite this morning where I'm hungry, and I'm starving to death, and I know some great places to go, including the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. They've got all the different flavors of shakes and all the different types of burgers and fish burgers and French fries and tater tots with the special sauce and the famous Farmer Brown burgers. Oh, it's delicious at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland? Absolutely one of the great places to go with your friends for your morning coffee and a breakfast burrito, scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomato sauce on a tortilla shell. Woo! What a great way to start the day. And then all day long, a tremendous assorted menu choices of great food at Taco Bandito. How about burgers, etc.? 2 locations serving you at 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And they've got the strawberry shakes. And after 3 p.m. in the afternoon, they've got corn dogs and burritos, only $1.39. What? What a deal! And really good food and nice people all the time at 2 locations of burgers, etc. And last but not least, I'm drooling. I'm so hungry. Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Patios open, warm weather, music on the weekends. Enjoy a delicious buffalo burger or a cheesy broccoli spud. Oh, my goodness. Don't forget they got cupcakes on the menus, different flavors every week. They're delicious. You're going to love the friendly people all the time at Steve-O's. 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Food made the way you like it. And those are some great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Now, here's the game plan for the next hour. At 10:06, Cache County School Days, Superintendent James Shank will be on the program. 10:23, Business Salute, Jeff at Lee's Furniture, and then Dr. Paul Nathanson talking about the sick drag show at a library in Denver that involved little children. Ay, ay, ay. We'll be back in a few minutes. Zeb at the Ranch. Don't go away. Oh, thank you. I love that piano in that opening. Thank you very much. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and welcome back to hour number 3 on a Thursday, July 11th already. Holy smokes. Zeb at the Ranch, and of course brought to you by your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of safe driving tires. Stop in and see them today. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Wheels, old buddy, old pal, could we have this good word for the Silver State Stampede? Wheels, old buddy, old pal.
Nevada's oldest rodeo, the Silver State Stampede, roars into the Elko County Fairgrounds July 12, 13, and 14. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of pro rodeo riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. Action kicks off on Friday with a delicious tri-tip dinner for just $10. Old West bronc riding, the Calcutta, mutton busting, PRCA rodeo action, and the always popular Ring of Fear. Dance the night away to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. And on Saturday, show your support with Tough Enough to Wear Pink. And on Sunday, round up the gang for the Family Day at the fairgrounds for even more rodeo action. Get your advance tickets today at Roy's, the J.M. Capriola Company, IFA, the Boot Barn, and the Elko Chamber Office. The best family entertainment this side of the Rio Grande, the Silver State Stampede. For more information, visit them at silverstatestampede.com.
All righty, thank you much. And don't forget, too, locally, some really good folks that are serving you with all your electronic needs. Who am I talking about? Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley. Curtis, Lorena, their staff, nice people. They've got all your home theater systems and your video surveillance cameras. Believe me, very important, especially if you're in a rural area. And they've got your car stereos and speakers and your complete sound systems, all the TVs. Woo! I mean, it's all there, along with the HughesNet Internet. What are you waiting for? Get in there today at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, serving you at Patterson's. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and with us is the superintendent of Cassia County Schools, and he's been here many, many times on the program. Good morning, Dr. James Shank. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Zeb. How are you doing? I'm doing great.
Well, good. Summertime, and I'm sure you are just sitting outside in a lawn chair, sipping a lemonade, waiting for school to start in the fall. Nothing to do right now at all, right?
Nothing. Yeah, right.
Give us kind of a breakdown. Honestly, people I don't think appreciate or know what school administrators and teachers, there's still a lot of activity during the summer months, isn't there?
There is. Yes, our teachers, in fact, we're just finishing up a couple of summer schools that we're going on. In fact, Cassia High School, which has a summer school going until Wednesday, will finish up. So they've been teaching ever since school let out last May. And, of course, you know, a lot of our great custodial and maintenance staff are going through buildings, getting them ready for the fall, and there's a tremendous amount of work to get things clean and in order, repaired. You know, anything that has to be done in terms of facilities is hard work and crunched over a very short period of time. And as far as our administrators go, they're in, you know, preparation for school to start up. You know, the bills have to get paid still, payroll's got to be done, and then all of the issues that are still in front of us that we're working on to try to resolve. There's efforts that go on. I know that there are lots of people that think that, you know, school's out, so therefore, you know, everyone's just on vacation. That's not the case.
Absolutely. Wheels over at the station, if you would please boost up the volume on Dr. Shank. I'd appreciate that. Dr. Shank, a couple of the questions I have is during the summer months, I don't know the exact time frame of how you do this and everything. How does the school board or the administration, how do they sit down and evaluate teachers to possibly come into the fold? I mean, is it in the latter stages of the spring? Do you do this during the course of the summer? How do you go about finding teachers and hiring the teachers prior to the next school year?
Sure. As soon as we know that someone's resigning or retiring, and this can happen back in early spring, you know, sometimes even back as far as February, we go into a recruitment cycle. You're probably aware that we do our own recruiting fair here in the springtime. And however, the jobs that we're not able to fill before school lets out, we're still in the process of interviewing, you know, accepting applications for the positions that are still open. And that's happening right now. So if one of our schools has a teacher opening, the principal is working hard to get applicants and get the teams in to interview them and get them hired prior to school starting.
Dr. Shank, everybody is often so quick to criticize and demonize Idaho education. I'm not one of those. I am very proud of the education that my children received. And how do we overcome this negativity? I mean, the numbers are always going to be skewed somehow to create a storyline for a newspaper saying Idaho ranks here on the bottom or whatever. How do we overcome this?
Well, some of it is to just talk more about the positive things that happen that are coming out of schools. It's very easy to talk about the critical items. No organization is ever perfect. I've not run across one yet where there isn't something that needs to be worked on or need to be improved. However, the things in schools that are going on they're very well done oftentimes aren't the things that are discussed. For instance, how many people out there are aware of the outstanding graduation rate that the Cassia County School District has? We have schools that graduate all of their children, and then in a school as large as Burley High School, 98% of those students are graduating. And then we have some that come back and do some summer work, and that number even gets greater. So it's one of those pieces of, yes, we understand that there are things that are critical, that need our critical attention, and there are problems that need to be solved. But that's not all that's going on in our school system. There are kids that are learning, growing, developing every day, wonderful things going on. It's just those are the things that aren't discussed. Things that are discussed are the critical ones.
I agree with you, and I think education, like in any aspect of life, your job, whatever, it is what you make it. There has to be a responsibility from the student, the parents, and the school to propel that student forward, and there has to be a drive and a desire to achieve.
Right. That's correct. It's all of us working hard together.
One of the things I've always admired about school districts, and it's got to be kind of like throwing a whole bunch of balls up in the air and trying to catch at least two of them, is how do you sit down and figure budgets? I mean, I compliment school boards and administrators for trying to figure out a budget, because it's kind of like answering a question, how high is up? How do you figure your fuel costs? I mean, how do you do all this? I mean, what in the world kind of a motivating factor? How do you figure these budgets so you're fairly close?
Sure. And that's a great question. I think that's one that's hard for people to understand. So let's think of it in terms of a $100 bill. The state gives us a $100 bill, and people need to understand that right off the top of that $100 bill comes salary and benefits. We're an institution that requires lots of people. It's a people organization, and so that's going to be our greatest expense. 85% or $85 of that $100 bill is spent in salary and benefits alone. Then we take the other 15% or the other $15 and take a look at, okay, what's it cost to heat our buildings, keep the lights on, what's it cost to repair them, the technology, everything that goes into supporting the teaching interaction that goes between students and teachers. And that's what we have to be very careful with, is that 15%, and that's not a great amount of money. And so most of the time when we look at our budget, we look at past expenditures, we look at priorities that are going to be set, the goals within our strategic plan, and we try to assign dollars to those figures. I think everyone knows that in their budget at home or wherever they work that there are going to be some things that are not known. And so you have to kind of have a contingency in play in order to deal with those things that are unknown. And so that's where some of the hard work goes is, we know it's going to probably cost us this much to heat a building. It's probably going to cost us this much to purchase some curriculum. It's going to cost us this much to put so much fuel in buses. But it's those unknowns that become difficult.
Absolutely. Dr. Shank, I had a call this last week, and there were some concerns, I beg your pardon, some concerns about the roadway in front of the John Evans Elementary School at 50 west of Burley, I believe it is, and who is responsible for the road repairs. They say it's a very dangerous road with potholes, etc. Is this issue going to be fixed or addressed prior to the school year?
Well, we're always looking. If it's a road problem, we try to partner with the people that help us fix roads. so that those potholes can get filled, or if there's some dangerous situation, that's something that we work on. And we try to be as proactive in making sure those things are repaired. Parking lots, how people come and go out of them, there's going to be wear and tear.
I understand that, but I'm just relating what I heard regarding the caller and, the danger of the potholes, et cetera, and then you can't do it during the school year, I would imagine, because of the youngsters trying to run willy-nilly all over the place. It would be rather difficult. This would be the prime time, would it not?
Oh, it is, yeah, and we try to deal with all of those things now. And I think everyone understands that, there's a list of projects like this, and they try to deal with those as, asphalt becomes available, all of these things that we put together in terms of repairs.
Is there anything, I'm going to have about 2 minutes left, and I've got to let you go, but is there anything else you need to mention on behalf of what's happening at this current time of the summer recess?
Sure, you bet. I just quickly, I'll just wanted to point out, and you mentioned it briefly about how we recruit and retain and so forth with teachers. And I hope that listeners understand that there's a teacher shortage. It's real, it's growing, and I think it's not fully understand that, the pipeline of new teachers coming into our system seems to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and some of that's because we have a great economy. People have options, and that's a great thing. But I just kind of want to point out that, there's lots of work that's being done, and our friends over at Minidoka County are working on a resolution with the Idaho School Boards Association to try to get some flexibility for us to be able to assign teachers, experienced teachers, into other areas for a limited amount of time, and that could help alleviate some of that shortage that's going on, because it's real. We struggle at times. We have few applicants for various positions, and we're always looking to hire the grade A type teacher because that's what our kids deserve, and that's what we want. But it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. And I know that other businesses are struggling to find great candidates as well, and we're right there with them. So that's something that I hope people understand.
I appreciate your time this morning on the program, Cassia County School Days. Superintendent of Schools, Dr. James Shank, thank you for being on the program. God bless. Have a wonderful summer, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to be taking our next caller in just a few minutes, but I also want to acknowledge, boy, are they getting ready. Whoo, look out. Tomorrow night is the kickoff of the Oakley Pioneer Days. I'm going to tell you, it's wild, it's woolly, it's one of a kind, and it starts tomorrow night, July 12th, and goes all the way through the 20th, Oakley Pioneer Days. They're going to kick it off right there at the rodeo grounds with the 11th annual Bump and Rub car race. You can call it a car race. I'm going to call it Major Chaos. It's a lot of fun to watch. Don't forget, that's tomorrow night through Saturday night, and then next week they've got all kinds of items, whether it's the Gymkhana, or whether it's the open rodeo, or whether it's the Goose Creek runoff, or whether it's the basketball tournament or the volleyball tournament. Woo! I just get tired looking at all these things. A lot of fun for you and the family at the 2019 Oakley Pioneer Days, July 12th through the 20th. And some of the great businesses that invite you over to Oakley include Smith's Cafe at 135 East Main in Burley. Open Monday through Saturday, 6:30 until all the customers are filled up and go home. I'll tell you what, they have a third-pound burger, absolutely delicious. All the ice-cold drinks in the hot summertime ready for you at Smith's Cafe in Oakley. And our dear friend Scott Bedke, Speaker of the House, Representative Scott Bedke, invites you and your family to be a part of the 132-year family Western tradition at Oakley Pioneer Days, starting tomorrow night and going through the 20th. Right now, we're going to go on the phone line, and we're going to head on down to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. We haven't had a chance to visit with this man lately, and we say good morning to Jeff. How are you?
Morgan again today, just feeling a little under the weather, so he's asked me to have a chat with you.
Well, Morgan, are you like Captain Morgan that stands there on one leg and kind of looks at the camera?
Most certainly, especially with 2 pina coladas.
Attaboy, Morgan. Well, now that we've got you on the phone, tell us about what are you doing over there for summertime at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More.
Well, summertime is a great time here at the store. We have some great specials on floor covering. We just got in some brand new rolls of carpet. We've got some specials less than $10 a yard. We just got in a couple new pallets of luxury vinyl plank, wonderful colors, amazing prices, waterproof flooring for your house.
Okay. Now, this luxury vinyl plank, there was a lady that called a couple of weeks ago, and she didn't understand, and I think I also share some of her misunderstanding. How is that applied to your home? I mean, what does it do? Give us a little bit more information.
Oh, of course. There's 2 applications. There's the glue-down variety, and there's the interlocking variety.
Oh.
Both of them are super easy for people who want to install their own project. We've got more than 22 styles in stock, commercial grade, very scratch resistant, beautiful looking floors, both in wood and tile look.
Oh, wow. I mean, all the floor coverings. What about carpets? I mean, now would be a great time to lay in some new carpet before everybody's kind of contained in the house during the fall and winter.
Yep, now is a great time. Now the schedule's more open than ever. It's a good time to get that quick job done. We've got carpet starting less than $9 a yard. We've got carpet with some waterproof backing on it, perfect for those folks out there with pets. You know, they love their furry little friends. It makes it very easy to have the pets in the house and keep the house smelling nice and clean.
Okay, now, Morgan, I, for one, know that you have an outstanding display of recliners, kind of like a whole herd of recliners. Any specials on those?
We do. In fact, we just unloaded and brought in from the truck in the warehouse today several different styles of made-in-America chairs. We've got some of those starting as low as $450. We've got American-made lift chairs with heat and massage for less than $1,000. All the comfort you need to take care of your family.
Talk a little bit about those lift chairs. You know, for the elderly or someone that maybe has had an accident or some kind of a physical impairment, they really are a big asset.
They really are. The lift chair really allows people the capability of functioning independently in their home. You know, it allows them to get up, to recline. Lots of people end up sleeping in them, so having a very comfortable, well-designed chair is very important for those folks. And we take it just one step further, and we get you an American-built chair with heat to keep you warm and relax your muscles, and massage to keep you comfortable for less than most of my competitors' basic chairs.
You know, I'm so glad that you emphasized American, because that's what this program is all about. I believe in America, and I support American products.
Of course, and we do too. We try to give them the very best of space, and we have huge varieties of American-built pieces here.
What else do you want to highlight this morning? I mean, you're the man of the hour. You're the head of the store. You can do whatever you doggone want to.
Well, I just wanted to talk to you real quick about our mattresses over here. We've got some specials on our mattresses. We've got mattresses 50 to 70% off.
Wow.
We've got one over here just for $5.99 for the queen size. It's the same mattress I have in my guest room, and I was just told this week by family it's the most comfortable mattress that they have ever slept on. It is a wonderful, wonderful piece.
Let me ask you a question about mattresses. You know, how do you know what's going to be the most comfortable for you?
You know, every person sleeps differently, but we here have studied really hard, and we help teach each other based on people's sleep patterns and how they like to sleep, how to identify and hone in on a specific mattress. That way, when people come in, they don't get overwhelmed by the large number of mattresses there are. We can help narrow that down to just one or two, and narrow that down based on their price point as well as how it feels for them personally. Make it really, really simple for selecting a mattress.
Oh, and one other point that I wanted to make a minute ago when we were talking about recliners. Boy, you got to go in and try one on, because they fit everybody differently, don't they?
Of course. And we have more than 60 in stock right now, more out in the warehouse. we've got recliners for everybody, and we can custom order some of these in more than 100 different fabrics and leathers.
Wow.
So we can make it look however you want.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You are a great staff over there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Okay, now, Morgan, I know that Jeff is away. You can say, well, we're going to close up early, but you guys never close up early. What are your hours that you're open?
We're open from 9 o'clock until 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday, and from 10 o'clock until 5 o'clock on Saturday. And that's just here in Burley on 459 Overland Avenue.
Captain Morgan, he's running the ship over there this morning. God bless you. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, thank you.
Hey, and thank you, Zeb.
All right, have a great day. Thank you much. Good people over there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I really appreciate them. Oh, and by the way, I want to give a great big shout-out again to Greystone Crossing. Oh, my goodness, Greystone Crossing, independent senior living on Alfresco Road. That's 21st Street, just a mile east of Walmart. 3 meals a day, plus snacks and housekeeping and local transportation. You need to go to the dentist. I hope you never do. I hate to go to the dentist, but I know if you do, they'll take you. The doctor, or maybe to get down to do some shopping. They absolutely provide so many different amenities to you. The whole feature of Greystone Crossing is community, friends living there with you and enjoying the beauty of Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living. Please call Kelly and Matt Wiggins today for more information and set up an appointment so they can show you around. 650-4979. I'll repeat that number, 650-4979. Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living. Please stop in, call, and visit them as soon as you can. Okay, here's the deal. I have coming up in just a moment a doctor that has been on our program before, Dr. Paul Nathanson. And I absolutely am looking forward to our visit here this morning. And it's going to be an interesting subject. And it's sick in a way and so perverted what we've let our society sink into. And he's going to be talking about drag shows where young children are involved. Sick and pathetic. We're going to send it back to Wheels. I'll be back in about 3.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
I make no apologies on this program for my stance on various issues and my position, and I will not weaken. And some of the sick and perverted things that are going on in our society, I think, are just adding to the rocks being piled on our heads to push us even lower into the gutter. And they include the various drag shows, drag queen shows, drag queens reading to young children at libraries, etc. And I have a gender relations professor that has written books and really is a man of understanding. And I've got him on the program to talk about what happened in Denver recently, and that's Dr. Paul Nathanson. Dr. Nathanson, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Fine, thanks.
I'm going to just tell you, and I'm not going to weaken on this, our society's going to hell, and we've got to turn this bus around. How would you respond to that?
Well, you're probably right. I can't argue with that. Too many really... We're becoming so fragmented and so polarized and so without a vision of anything that draws us all together as one community that, yes, it is breaking apart.
When recently, even here in what we call the Magic Valley of southern Idaho, and we saw our local newspaper, if you want to extend that sympathy to them, highlight a drag queen show and also reading to young children, these perverts dressed up in makeup and costumes that were absolutely sexually subjective to criticism. What's going on? Why are they doing this? And why are they trying to incorporate all these little children?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think that children should be part of a social experiment because they cannot give their informed consent. So when adults use them as part of a social experiment, which is basically what's happening, that's a really dangerous thing. I'm not sure that the drag queen phenomenon itself is what's harmful, but there are closely allied things such as the trans phenomenon. In other words, telling children that there's no such thing as a boy or a girl. There are only feelings or moods that can change. One day you're a boy, the next day you can be a girl. I mean, that kind of thing is really dangerous.
Dr. Nathanson.
Partly because it's not based on any scientific evidence.
There you go. Right. I've had you on the program before. I respect you. That's why I've had you on this program. But would you tell me how in a society that supposedly is always trying to get a better appetite for education and better knowledge, how could we regress to such stupidity and say there's no such thing as a boy or a girl?
Well, that's what identity politics does. That's exactly what it does. And for the past half-century, we have promoted, or at least allowed, identity politics to enter every institution, including the university, including the teacher training programs, government offices, and bureaucracies. Now, the first identity politics was basically after the transition from the civil rights movement to the Black Power movement. That was probably the first case of identity politics, and that was quickly followed by the transition from egalitarian feminism to ideological feminism, which is still with us. But there are many forms of identity politics, not only race and gender.
As a person that studies this and an author that has written about this, how in the world did we get to this line of thinking? Like in New York, there are 47 or 48 perceived genders, and if someone's not addressed by the proper gender, there could be some kind of a fine or a lawsuit or whatever. How did we progress, not progress, but regress into this kind of a system?
Well, I think, there probably are several factors. One of them clearly is simply that we've been asleep at the wheel. There's been a lot of complacency, and then people wake up when things finally occur in their local schools, and they say, "Hey, wait a minute, how did we get here?" But we should have been thinking about this for the past half century.
When you say thinking about it for the past half century, Dr. Nathan, kind of elaborate on that a little bit. What could we have done? What should we have done? What didn't we do?
Well, I think that when feminists, for example, began making outrageous claims, most people just said, well, that's just going on in universities, and universities always have a bunch of crazy students, but they're far away from here, and they'll grow out of it. But in fact, what goes on at the university has gone mainstream now, especially in the past 5 years. So, 30 or 40 years ago, feminists began claiming that there was no such thing as a woman who could give consent to sexual activity, because in a patriarchal society, they said, women are incapable of giving their consent. Now, that should have been challenged half a century ago, but it was still considered radical in those days. Now it's mainstream. Now we have Me Too.
I'm going to say this, and I'm very proud to say this. I am a Christian. And I think it's because we've got away from Christian principles and foundations of Christianity in this country, upon which this country was founded on, that we are seeing a road that is now strewn with a lot of rocks that we can't climb over. Am I wrong?
No, I wouldn't say you're wrong. I think it's a bit more complicated than that, because I think that political ideologies such as feminism and Marxism and many others on both the right and the left come to function as secular religions. In other words, they try to replace religion. It's not that people are becoming without religion. They've just replaced one religion with another. And so feminism has become the replacement for Christianity.
When you say feminism has become the replacement for Christianity, that opens up a whole bunch of questions. The media and your so-called sitcoms on television and the denigration of men, making them look like boggling idiots. Is this all a part of that trend and kind of a program to treat men as less?
Yes, it is. I'm not sure that everybody is consciously aware of that larger program, but historically speaking, it is all part of the same phenomenon. There is that, because the denigration of men, for example, is almost inevitable, an almost inevitable consequence of feminist ideology. It's all linked. It is linked. I don't like to say that because I don't like to sound like a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not sure that I would call this a conspiracy because that would refer to a conscious, secret conspiracy. There's nothing secret about this.
Yeah.
Feminists say they speak as they do quite openly. There's nothing secret about what they believe. Their books are available, easily available. There's no censorship. No censorship of feminism at any rate, although there is some censorship of opposition to feminism. But even if it's not a conspiracy, it's a problem that demands to be seen as a whole. It's not just this or that event. It's not just dressing up in costumes once a year. It's a whole combination of things that work together and find their expression ultimately in legal change and in government policy.
Dr. Nathanson, if you could, in 20 seconds or less, give a definition of what feminism is and what they want, what would you say?
Let me start with what feminism was. It was a movement to improve the condition of women, and I have no problem with that. What it's become is a movement that sees, it's a zero-sum game. It's the idea that if you want to improve women's condition, you have to somehow either ignore or exacerbate the problems of men. And that is where feminism has become an ideology.
Okay, and there is nothing to offer on the other side. I mean, as far as masculinity, if someone gets up and starts talking about masculine attitudes or the John Wayne image or whatever, then they are painted as bigots and hate mongers. Am I wrong?
No, you're quite right. And the American Psychological Association recently issued guidelines for the treatment of male patients, and basically they described masculinity of almost any kind, what they call traditional masculinity, although it's not, in fact, very traditional. They labeled that a detriment to the health of men, but they make it clear that what they're really after is the health of women, because they say that masculinity promotes misogyny and violence and what have you. So they're really trying to help women, but they labeled it helping men, But if I had a son, I certainly wouldn't send him to a member of the American Psychological Association for treatment.
You know, Dr. Nathanson, when you look at the overall picture of our society today, and you look at this, you study this, this is your life's work. Where are we headed as a society? Is this a cyclical type thing that's going to come back to the top of the circle again? Or where are we headed in this movement?
Well, you know, I don't have a crystal ball, and I refuse to be completely pessimistic. But I would have to say that if we don't start coming together again through some kind of dialogue, we're going to just fragment into not a society but a collection of interest groups that are fighting each other in the public square. Now that's not a society. That's just a fragmentation writ large. So I do think we need to do something, and we need to start challenging the ideologues in public. Despite efforts to censor us, we've got to speak out.
Yeah.
And frankly, men have got to do their homework. Men are sitting around at home worrying and saying, "Oh gosh, what's happening?" And they don't even notice. Many men don't even notice that there's a sizable number of women today who are saying what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
You know, they have challenged some of the basic ideas of feminism. So if women can do that, men better be ready to do it too.
Absolutely. I think you're spot on. We have a caller with a quick comment. Go ahead, caller. Please, you're on the air.
Yes, I have a son who is a doctor, and following him through his education and that, I still say, I'm still, bottom line is, what's happening in this society is they have college professors and college people that come out of the college with a degree and PhDs and all this, and they don't know nothing because they don't mix it in with the Bible. The Bible is the best textbook we have. And these college professors that we have in the colleges today, they don't know how to teach these students or anything that is moral, because they don't have morals themselves.
Good point. Good point.
They need to get right to the basics and don't hee-haw around.
I agree with that caller, and I'm going to have Dr. Nathanson respond. Go ahead, Doctor, please.
Well, you know, I didn't hear that very well. Can you repeat the question?
Well, basically, I think the principles of what he said are correct, and Wheels over at our station make sure that the gains are up. That the schools today and professors have got away from the moral fabric of teaching young people and a lot of the principles of teaching in the years past out of the Bible. And we've got away from the do unto others as you would have them do unto you atmosphere, and we've lost our morality. I think I agree with the caller.
Well, yes, I mean, I do agree. You're speaking to, I'm a Jew, not a Christian, but I get the point.
Absolutely.
And I do think that removing religion, that is to say, Judaism or Christianity from the schools, or that tradition, that biblical tradition, probably has left us with an emptiness that is being filled by these ideologies.
You know, the thing that you said a moment ago, and I've only got 2 minutes left, Dr. Nathanson, you said we need to come together. I'm paraphrasing what you quoted a moment ago, but you said we need to come together. But my question would be, when you say to one side or the other side, we need to come together or we're going to fragment, there has to be some common ground or common acceptance of that certain common ground in order to make people want to come together. I personally cannot concede that drag queens at a library reading to 3 and 5-year-olds is a good thing.
Yes, I agree. Is that there has to be a will on both sides. That is true. I suspect that things will get so bad that people will simply say, look, we can't go on this way. And in politics, nothing is going to get done
in Washington unless both parties somehow cooperate. More cooperation might lead to greater mutual respect, but I'm not by nature an optimist. I don't see how this is going to happen.
Absolutely.
My job as in my field, which is religious studies, by the way, my job is to make people aware of a problem that until very recently no one was talking about. Now, I don't have the solution. I can only say that for people of goodwill, no matter how different their ideas, it is possible to have a dialogue. And for that, for evidence of that, I point to interreligious dialogue, which has been quite successful.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have Buddhists and Christians and Jews and Hindus agreeing on some of the fundamental aspects of religion without necessarily agreeing about all the details, and they can cooperate with each other and live happily together. That much, I think, is possible.
I agree with that point, Dr. Nathanson, but then I think you will also concede, whether they are Jewish or Christian, whatever religion, first of all, the group and the problem is many people have no religion today.
Yes.
You know, I could go on, and I love visiting with you.
Worse than that is that many people have political ideologies which function as religions that do not accept anybody outside of that circle as having any legitimacy at all.
Absolutely. Gender relations professor, and I hate to cut this short, but I'm out of time, that I always enjoy having this gentleman on my program. Very straightforward. Dr. Paul Nathanson. Sir, God bless you. Thank you, and come back soon. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm out of time. I've got to get right here to the weather forecast. A very interesting man, and we've got some problems in this country that absolutely have to be addressed. You can't sweep them under the rug. Our weather forecast is brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Hello, Don Scarrow and the crew over there at Scarrows Meats. Delicious meats. Got a great big family picnic coming, or maybe a company picnic or whatever. Oh, they've got all the delicious meats, the tri-tips and the pork ribs, and they've got all the different bratwurst. Oh, my, and the bacons. You name it, it's all there at Scarrows Meats. Check it out on their website, scarrowsmeats.com. The number, 324-7657. You call Scarrows Meats today. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Another sunny summer day here in the valley. Here's a look at your weather forecast, and we're expecting, yes, sunny skies. Going to be on the warm side, so wear that sunscreen and drink plenty of fluids. We are expecting a high of 93 tonight, mostly clear with a low of 60. Tomorrow, another nice one. Sunny skies with a high of 93, overnight low of 61. By Saturday, we do have a slight chance of some rain showers or afternoon thunderstorms. Still mostly sunny skies, high of 94, partly cloudy for Saturday night with the low of 62. Then as we hit Sunday, mostly sunny and mid-90s. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Break out the lemonade. Oh, boy, it's going to be nice and summery over the next couple of days. Our weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Hello, Don and the crew. Man, these are good people. I got to get Don over here and have him come on the air again. Maybe he'll bring some bratwurst with him. Don't forget, call them, 324-7657. At Scarrows Meats, they are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Wow, this has been a really good week with all the top guests and everything, and we've got more great people scheduled for next week. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Dan Kish on Monday. And he's with the Institute for Energy Research, and he's going to be talking about the president's speech on environmental achievements. The news media, the CNNs, MSNBCs, ABC, CBSs, they will not comment on this. They will not comment on this, and they will not give our country any credit for the multiple increases in environmental standards. No, they won't. And Dan Kish is going to lay it on the table next Monday, and he's going to be on, I think, at 9:30, so don't miss that. Oh, don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my goodness, all 7 of them. They say, hey, stop in, get a free pre-trip safety check. I said that now 3 times in a row and never stumbled. I like that. They'll check your tires, including the air pressure, the wheel alignment, and the tire wear, the front-end components, the shocks and the struts, the battery with the load test, the brake components. I'm telling you, they just want you to leave here on a trip and turn around and come back safely. Absolutely. And don't forget, they've got the best in tires. Tires for your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever it might be. They've got everything. They want you to enjoy your road trip. Stop in today and see the best, work with the best at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane in Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike in Buell, Mike in Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. Yep, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. That's going to do it for me for this week. And I want to extend to Wheels. I hope he has a wonderful weekend, and we'll be back in the saddle next Monday. And wherever you're going, whatever you're doing with your family, be careful. If you're going to be involved in water sports, make sure you take all the safety precautions. Wear your sunscreen. That's what I keep saying to myself. And we'll just look forward to great guests and a lot of good times right here on the program next Monday. We always end the program by saying the way things were are the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. But we're now incorporating, like I did a couple of days ago, another slogan. It's our national motto: we will not change. In God we trust. God bless you and your family. See you next Monday at 8:06. Zeb at the Ranch. Have a good one.